What up, gspree gang? I got my whole Twitch and YouTube chat together last Saturday with the goal to beat 9 kings on king difficulty with all 8 current kings available in 9 kings. Actually, it was 4 weeks ago at this point, but who's counting? Now, prior to this, I have been grinding out most kings to, get them up to level and unlock some more perks for them, which we'll get into in a moment. So I'm pretty versed in the kings that I do like and how I can play around the kings that I don't much care for, mainly the King of Nature and the King of Nomads. There's 2 parts that go into actually picking a king for a run in the first place. 1 is the castle and 2 is the perks. There would be kind of a third option here, which would be their whole cards, but if you go against them, if you wage war against a specific king, you end up getting their cards anyway, so whether or not you like the King of Nomads, you can still get his cards, and then just not make peace with him, which is most favorable for the King of Nomads because his cards go crazy. I just don't much care for the castle, because it's just a bunch of little dudes that run around and throw buffs based on their stats, and I'd much rather have something like the insta-kill beam from the King of Greed, or the King of Spells Chain Lightning, or the King of Progression's literal moving mothership that bombs the entire battlefield. Okay, maybe not the whole battlefield, but a good chunk. But that opinion is subject to change because this challenge is forcing me to play all the kings, and at least get acquainted with them. So again, if I like the King of Nomads cards, which I do, I can just wage war against him. Once I beat him in battle, I get to pick one of his cards. Now, since I've already beaten king difficulty with the King of Stone, I have king difficulty unlocked with every single king. Can we get a king counter on this video? How many are we at so far? 9 kings, king of 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 king. So basically, I don't have to beat the game on all subsequent difficulties leading up to the king to be able to actually play the king, so that's going to be a huge time saver in this challenge. However, it would greatly increase my chances of winning because as you play more runs and as you win runs, you level up, and then these level ups unlock more perks for these specific kings. Some of these perks go crazy, and some of them I just usually push to the side, and they're really underwhelming in my opinion. Take, for example, the King of Nature. We're going to be picking on the King of Nature and the King of Nomads throughout this whole video. At the time of writing this script, I only have 4 perks unlocked for the King of Nature, so I don't have all of them quite yet, but for the sake of discussion, +1 orchard root to your base of 3, +1 procreate every time you lose a life, an extra 10% HP to all boars, and then the Treant's attacks are 10% stronger. At first glance, I'm not super impressed, so let's take a deeper look. The orchard level 1 roots 3 enemies, at level 2, 6, at level 3, 9. +1, I'm assuming that means we go from 3 to 4, 6 to 8, and then 9 to 12. So basically, once it's maxed out, it's another level. And yeah, you can +2 or +3 this perk with the nationalist, leftist, verticalist perks. Now stay with me here, which basically adds an extra stack of the perk to the thing it's pointing to. So you could buff this +1, +2, or +3, which then it gets pretty cool, but if I have to focus it so much, it just seems kind of stupid. Plus then you have to actually push for the orchard cards, and it's possible you just don't get very lucky. Plus some enemy armies go absolutely crazy, having 300, 400 plus enemies, and orchard rooting maybe 12 max out of that just doesn't seem really worth it in my opinion. So I'd rather take those resources and put them into something better. Next up is Procreate, which is a spell card that adds 9 extra units to the selected troop. I love Procreate. Top 3 spell cards for me in the entire game. Getting 1, 2, or 3 of these, I usually stack them on my tanks, my paladins, defenders, or warlocks. It's sort of cool for higher level difficulties because I typically tank 2 lives pretty early on, so getting a reward like this is kind of like an instant fix. I'm on the fence about this perk though. I like it, but it's kind of just meh. I choose Procreate over other King of Nature cards anyway, so I already am picking into Procreate fairly often, so it would just be a bonus anyway, so it's alright. Moving on. Plus 10% HP for boars. Boars need to be placed adjacent to other troop units. Those troops mount the adjacent boars and are granted an extra +1% to all stats based on the HP of the boar. So it's actually pretty decent if you can max HP of these boars. Again, only difficulty with this is actually getting boars early on and then ideally having a forest right next to it to stack HP even greater. Next up, the Treant's attacks are 10% greater. The Treant is the King of Nature's castle, and it summons a circle where inside of it, if there are allies, it heals them. If there are enemies, it damages them. So if this is how it reads, attacks are greater, I'm not really interested. I would rather keep my units alive and then build into my units to do more damage. So I'm kind of put off. That's really all I wanted to say about the Treant. It's bottom 3 favorite castles, not gonna lie. So gang, you might be asking, if you hate the King of Nature and the King of Nature's perks so much, who do you think has some of the best perks? Well, writer, I'm glad you laid this up for me because I have an answer. I haven't decided yet. However, the King of Progress's perks are pretty tight. Defenders have plus 10% HP E, and this perk is similar to the boars, except I actually really like the defenders. The mothership's attack speed and movement speed is increased by 10%. The mothership is the King of Progress's castle. And there's a decree which doubles the attack range and attack speed of the mothership, so you can make it nuke the battlefield. You can stack decrees. I funneled this thing. It's awesome. The King of Progress is one of the perks that I actually put multiple perk points into being able to raise the level cap of the castle. Because it's base level 3, there's a perk that increases it 5. And then if you, again, use the nationalist, leftist, verticalist perks to get extra perk points for the perks, you can make the max level of your castle 8 or 13 or 18. And I haven't gotten over 13, but that sounds absolutely insane. Another one is all troops get an extra 10% crit, which is okay, but paired with extra attack speed, then it would kind of go crazy. I kind of put this one on the back burner. All progress cards can upgrade 1 additional time, which is actually insane. Converters have an extra 10% attack speed. Converters with extra attack speed means more enemy troops being turned into rats. This one's a kind of similar story to the Orchard, except the converters actually produce units which stay on the battlefield, can't get targeted by enemies for some reason, so they kind of just throw in some extra damage. I really like the converter, plus there's a decree that turns enemies into King of Blood's bombers instead of rats, so they just get converted and blow up. There's also a perk that gives the executioners an extra 20% damage. The executioners are the DPS for the King of Progress, so this is actually not half bad. And then the last perk I have right now is just lab rats get a free extra level once they're placed. Lab rats level is uncapped, that's kind of their whole thing, so just getting a little bit of a head start isn't super necessary in my opinion, so I can do without it. Overall, pretty solid general perk upgrades for the King of Progress here. The King of Progress is kind of a unique king in my opinion, whereas his cards are pretty self-sustaining. I often just opt for taking support cards from other kings rather than whole units or constructions, although construction runs are really fun, just building pure buildings. Absolutely beautiful. As for the rest, King of Nomads perks are kind of mid. The King of Stone perks are low-key mid, but I absolutely love the King of Stone's Flame Tower. Favorite card in the entire game. King of Blood's perks actually go kind of hard. Extra units, stronger units, free demon altars. We'll get into that stuff when it's King of Blood's turn. King of Spells perks are great, and then I absolutely love the King of Nothing's perks. But enough for the intro. The stream has since concluded, so let's see how it went. The VOD is up over on my Overstock channel. The channel will be linked in the description below if you're interested. I started off this challenge at the very beginning with the King of Nothing. I'm pretty familiar with these cards and I have most if not all of the perks, so this should be easy. I slapped your typical farm right in the middle to add some extra units to my surroundings. Paladins, archers, soldiers, and ended up getting some huge assistance from my friend the King of Stone in the form of a flame tower and the absolutely goated ballistas. I believe this took me 2 tries on stream, so for lack of time to be able to actually create a full narrative for the King of Nothing, I was able to obliterate the King of Nature on the very final year 33, thanks to the fireballs I was launching from my castle, just burning the entire battlefield, which is my front yard, by the way. And then my soldier units dealing most of my damage. I need a blacksmith right here, and I need a paladins right here. Blacksmith, paladins. Unfortunately, I'm asking a lot from the King of Nothing cards, but when I'm going the King of Nothing, I want to go all out on the King of Nothing. I love the King of Nothing's cards a lot. It just flows really naturally. It all makes sense, you know? Oh my god. Why? I'm kind of rolling. The ballistas, I think, are low-key saving me. Because they just do 40,000 off the rip. Hands off. That's the easiest fight of my life. I'm just burning everything. Treant's slowly taking damage. Yeah, he's got damaging fields out there, but most of his units are just dying, right? I mean, I'm acting really cocky. And I probably shouldn't be, because a lot of my ballistas are dying, and I'm actually quite scared. The elves are killing my ballistas at a very rapid pace. Like a very... Yeah, they're all dead. Are my paladins in there somewhere? I don't know what's going on. I don't know who's alive. It's the soldiers and the paladins are left alive. The archers and the ballistas are dead. And they're just chopping away. Alright, whatever. Easy, GG's. Alright, that's one down. Next up was the King of Spells. I was only level 6 going into this challenge, and I wasn't super impressed by the perks I had, so I figured I'd do up some leveling. We started off at the Duke level, which is 2 levels below King, but I have a half-decent idea of what to look for and what to build for the first run. There's this decree called Static Fields, which doubles the attack speed of the Citadel's Lightning Bolt. Just look at this. Look at this! Oh my god, the Chain Lightning's insane! This is the first time I'm actually, like, using it. It's over. The Chain Lightning does everything. 106
figures on the damage from the castle. I wish that was the run.
It chains down and just spams lightning bolts. First run, I get this 3 times, sextuplying the attack speed of the lightning bolt. After that run, I got a perk that levels up my warlock game, granting them some bonus HP. I still wasn't satisfied with that, so I went to try and do another level up doing Prince difficulty and attempted to build off that same decree.
I could regain the life I just lost. Increased attack of all your units and towers. If it's not for my base, I really don't give a shit. I'm gonna be honest. Your wizard's now... Oh. Ooh. Double the enchantments. No, I don't need that. I'm gonna waste all of my rerolls. Hey, there it is. There's static fields. There's another static fields. Okay, run is saved. The run is saved. Unironically, I was able to pick up 2 static. That was, honestly, I was happy with just 1 static field. But the fact that I got 2 thanks to this long-termism, that's kind of crazy.
Doesn't matter how bad my board looks, as long as I've got the walls up to prevent enemies from coming in and the lightning bolts coming down, perfect. I mean, ideally, right? The walls and the units just kind of live and are there, and then the lightning bolt takes care of the rest. It's like toxic stalling in Pokemon.
Oh, my orchard's still level 1. Wait, there's another decree to be had. Hold on. That's level 4 static. Ah, that's so pretty. That's so pretty. That's the way to win the game, I guess. I've cracked the code. I know how to do it.
He was so spoiled. He was given the illusion of ease to beat the game, and he was not letting that go. This little maneuver gave us a setback. I did beat Prince level difficulty and got a new perk, granting me a free random enchantment card at the beginning of the run, which isn't too bad. So I figure we're ready for King difficulty. We've just hit about 90 minutes into this challenge. I'm feeling good. Back in my mind's a little like concerned about the time frame that we're doing this, because 90 minutes and I'm on the 2nd king still. But at least at this point we have the know-how of how to win with the 2nd king. I grabbed the Static Fields Decree on the first offering, miss it on the second one, and then lose 4 lives before year 18. So I'm forced to restart here. Second run starts off a little bit more promising with 2 kings that are really great for early game stacking and ramping, King of Progression and Greed. I missed Static Fields on the first decree option, but I hit a blessing on year 13.
Yeah, there they go. The wall's down. They're kind of slow. They might be slow enough that I can pull it off. Possibly. We'll see. Nah, it's over. Oh my god, the Infinity Strike. Defenders! Static Fields! Oh my god! It's happening.
It all comes together. My board is looking beautiful and we're halfway through the run.
Alright, these ballistas need to die. Okay, it doesn't matter. You know, it was close.
Alright, attempt 3, here we go. My level 9 perk means Healing Spires have an extra little tendril to go out and heal allies, which is pretty sweet, honestly, also given the fact that they can heal King of Stone's walls, if I continue to get him to help me out. This next run, I start off with a free Vampirism, which I give to my Warlocks, so they can heal themselves a little bit based on the damage they do. Year 4, I again don't get the decree I want, so I just upgrade my unit's damage.
This is gonna be the longest game of my life.
I also got some Defenders from King of Progress and a Forest from the King of Nature, which means I am geared up so well to just take damage and lead up for the Static Fields. If I get the Static Fields, I've got a lot of survivability going on. If maybe the game just wants to slide me a decree, it's just, that's all I need. I'm this close to success. I can taste it. Like when you look at a purple sweet tart. I know what I've done in the past. It works. I know I've seen it with my own eyes. It's the perfectly crafted build in theory. I just please need it. Year 14 is another decree. I'm down 2 lives. I've got 1 left. I need 1 miracle. That's all I need.
Oh no, I lost to a ballista.
You know, to be honest, I was even hyping myself for this to be an underdog of a run. Oh well, a restart means that our first decree could actually go my way. Spoiler alert, it does.
Ugh. Yeah, alright, we got the one thing I needed.
I grabbed the Static Fields early. I also get a dispenser on the field from the King of Greed, which ramps up attack speed based on the amount of money I gain.
What's your blessing? Prosperity. You think I'm gonna have less than 20 bucks in that time? You think I'm gonna have less than 20 bucks in 10 years? I don't think so, buddy. I think you're cracked out of your gourd. I'm gonna be the richest king alive.
Yeah, blessings never really go my way.
This is gross. This is a terrible fight. Is this pay-per-view? Are you seeing this? What the hell, man? Defenders! Oh my god, no way! No way! I actually got the tanks I needed. Except there's 3 of them, so they all die immediately. Oh my god. Oh my god. It's over. This is it. This is the last life. I made it to year 16. It was an okay run.
And just like those blessings, these runs ain't going my way either. This is getting ridiculous, gang, but I'm strapped in for the long run. We're like 2 hours into the run at this point, but our strategy is being reworked. Run whatever we're on starts with the King of Blood, allowing for us to play into actual unit numbers. And I also got gambling. I just decided, you know what, we're in this far, we're gonna go gambling. Which means instead of getting 1 out of 3 cards at the end of every battle, you just randomly get 2 at the end. So you're really gambling with this setup. You don't get to build specific cards. You don't get to try to focus on a specific task. You just have to deal with literally whatever the game gives you. And from my recent experience, it's just fighting against the game to try and do something that you kind of want to do. But it's not working too poorly for us here. We're at year 15 here with 0 lives lost. And usually 14 is where I usually start to falter, lose a life, maybe lose 2 lives, and then the run is over in the next 2 or 3 years. But the fact that this mashup, this random bullshit go is seemingly working, it's promising.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. It's good. Okay, who are we making peace with? King of Stone. Boom. Done. Easy. Threats gone. Offering offered. Wizard? Don't need it. Overhaul the wizard. Boom. Done. Migration? Ew.
Things are moving. We're gonna groove. At this point, I've lost most of my faith in static fields and relying on my castle to do most of the heavy lifting here, and have instead placed that faith in troops. I have 2 forests buffing my unit's HP. I've got 2 demon altar stacks stacking stats when my units die, and then basically we burst up to year 29 no problem. Where now I get static fields, of course. I guess, whatever. I like it. I'll take what it wants to give me. Whatever, I'm just waiting for year 33 at this point. I feel comfortable. I'm not really looking for anything specific, just adding a couple extra units and buildings to my free plots that I have, and granting me a little bit bonus numbers wherever I can, wherever they kind of fit in.
All right, here it is. This is it. This is the last round. Oh, no, second to last round. This is year 33. This is for king level on our warlock. For the... Let's go. He's summoning imps. Look out. He's summoning imps. That's it. That's it. Hands off. I don't have to do shit. I have 201 units on the field. Look at this. 201 units on the field. They didn't die. So good at this game, dude.
And just like that, in a solid 19-minute run, the King of Spells on King difficulty has been checked off. As we rotate into the King of Blood here, I'm really happy with the perks we do have. Our castle here is called the Pagoda and allows us to summon imps wherever we like on the battlefield.
I'll tell you, the one reason I don't like the Pagoda is that once all of the imps are out, they're out, and that's kind of just it.
However, it gives us more units for the battlefield, and they're just little guys that run around and throw up some damage. One of my perks adds an extra 3 imps to this pool. The next one grants 10% strength to all summons, which is a little bit of a head scratcher. I'm still on the fence of what summon actually means, whether this is just actual summoned units, i.e. the Pagoda's imps or the Graveyard's imps, or your units as a whole. Both of these being a little underwhelming, I just put them off to the side and don't put any extra points into them. So for the perks that I am pointing to, we have Pagan, which allows us to get a free demon altar in a corner of the grid at the very beginning of the game, so we can immediately start stacking our demon altars. Since I put an extra perk into this, I get 2 of them, which is why King of the Blood's perks low-key one of my favorites. Next up is Draculean, which is fairly self-explanatory, except for the percent. We get 5% to all life gain, except we're +1ing it, so we get 10%. So we just have to make sure that we stamp Vampirism on every unit that we have. And finally, Cultists. Start with a free imp card at the beginning of the run. And I'm actually stacking 3 points on this thing, so I get a free level 3 imp troop unit on the field at the very first turn. Or 3 level 1 imps if I just want to overload the field. I opt for a level 3 imp plot here, and since I have my own cards in my hand, I also get another imp that I can just throw out. Turn 1, I have 54 units going up against the King of Nothing, who has 3. But you've seen that battle already. Let's get caught up with where we're at, since I've been just gushing about the King of Blood for like 5 minutes. And if I haven't made it abhorrently clear, I love the King of Nothing's cards, so he's gonna be a huge supporter for us here. Farms for the imps means more imps, which means more units, which means more buffs for my demon altars. Then everything would just be perfect. If I could get bombers to go right next to the farm, the horn blows starting the battle, those bombers run in and just blow up, which means free stacks for the demon altar. I'm also getting King of Greed cards here. I opt for a vault just so I can get some extra money and then also some over-investment cards, which cost 30 gold, but gives just 15% stats to something. So I just get better units. King of Greed, that's kind of all I'm going to use you for. Overall, we get to year 20 with just over 150 units. I've got some decrees to max the quantity of pagoda imps I can summon, and I've doubled all of the stats to my demon altars. At this point, I just sit back and play the waiting game. Again, I've got support cards coming in from the King of Nothing. I also have waged war against the King of Nomads so I can get his buff cards. I've decided to make peace with the King of Greed because I don't need him anymore, and then shift focus to just leveling up my own cards. Actually, towards the end of this run here, I opt to scrap the farm entirely and replace it with a cemetery, which means, again, more units on the field. Every troop that's adjacent to the cemetery, once a unit dies from there, they have a chance to be summoned back as an imp. They just be little gremlins that run around, don't you? With my pagoda imps and then the cemetery stacking units after the initial units die, I climb up to having almost 400 units in the battlefield, but I feel like I needed more. This run moved so fast and I had 4 open plots that I just needed to fill. Ignore the vault and the thieves that are there, they don't really count. They're not really putting in work. Just look at the center 3x3, that's really what's important. But this brings us right up to the ending, which plays out like every other year leading up to this one's judgment.
Time to fight Godzilla. I'll summon imps in your back line. What are you gonna do about it? Imps in your back line, imps in your back line. They're eating away the range. Godzilla died so fast. That might have been the easiest one. That was first try.
16 minutes was all the King of Blood needed, setting a new record and absolutely blowing away the 2.5 hours I spent on the previous king. 3 down, 4 to go. I've technically already beaten the King of Stone. We're creeping up on 3 hours of the stream here, and I'm getting a little worried. But something in the back of my mind is telling me it's all gonna be okay after that King of Blood performance. If I can manage to get lucky, we'll be out of this challenge before we have to put the Markiplier old home folks to bed. I decided to talk up the King of Progress next. I'm pretty familiar and pretty leveled with his perks, so I figured this would be a pretty easy knockout. I also gushed over his perks earlier, so we don't really have to talk about those here. Now, I gushed about the King of Progress's perks earlier, so we don't have to cover those, and in fact, we don't have to cover them anyway, thanks to the first decree we get on year 4.
Replace your cards in hand with random rainbow cards. Yeah, I'm not attached to anything in my hand. Ogre. Lonely unit. Every year, increase 5% of all stats for each adjacent empty plot. Cool. Whatever you got, man. I've never used these ogres before.
You encounter the rainbow army throughout your run one time, and they give you very unique rainbow cards. Typically, I grab 2 of them. There's a temple and a shrine, I believe. One grants 10% to a random stat to a random plot every turn, and the other one takes 9 gold or 6 gold or 3 gold, depending on level, per turn to level up a random plot. I've never played with the actual units of the rainbow army until now. I picked up the scapegoats and the giants. The scapegoats just kind of sit in the background, run around, and if they happen to die, you get paid for it. X-Ray is also not a bad card at all here, as it upgrades everything diagonally to the selected plot. It's also the only card in the game right now that deals with things diagonally instead of adjacently. So it's a little bit fresh and cool. But these ogres... Oh, these ogres. They have fairly decent damage output and crit chance, and they also have a pretty decent amount of HP for being level 1 this early into the game at 20. It's no defender or paladin, but they actually do damage. Being able to get this unit at year 4 means I still have open plots, and I can actually play around it, meaning I can keep those plots open, giving it an extra 5% boost to every adjacent plot every year, which makes 15%. Of course, my dumbass puts a spire directly next to it, so we get 10% instead. But we'll overlook it. It also grants healing, so it's not all bad. I end up procreating these ogres 4 times thanks to the King of Nature, and then get them to max level thanks to the King of Nothing. And then by year 20, they're doing 30 to 40,000 damage, and it only goes up. This run was very unexpected and drastically different than any other way I've played the game, but this seed, just like the static fields, planted in my brain. I will never forget this. Also, just completely randomly, these ogres must have gotten roided up because they got fast.
Oh, yeah. We need the steel coats on there, like, now. Oh my god, the speed! Their speed is so fast! Okay. And Deco form gets added to inventory. Copy pasting my ogres to an adjacent empty plot means I have 2 troops of ogres. I think that just means the game is over. Battles are now lasting less than 15 seconds. My level 3 ogres are putting in so much work that no other troops and constructs can keep up. My other units are worthless to me. My Spire has almost nothing to heal because these ogres have over 2,000 HP. I do actually still get rats from the converter, so at least that's kind of cool. That's huge. Wait, this is it. I just first tried the King of Progress. These ogres carried me. 45 units times 2, 1800 HP, 450 damage, except it's critting, so it's doing almost 1,000 damage. 40 MS, hits 18 times a second. Good lord. Let's see how fast this goes. That might have been even faster than the King of Blood. 16 minutes. Look at this. On to the next one.
Absolutely flawless run here from the King of Progress. I dropped one battle at year 15. Then the ogres locked in and dropped bodies all over the battlefield. And made way for this challenge to have 2 back-to-back 16-minute clears. Moving on. King of Greed. Money, money, money. I don't want to look at the perks for this guy. I get money or something, I'm sure. I only have like 3 perks unlocked. There's only 4 things that matter here. Money, dispenser, beacon, and mercenaries. The dispenser stacks 1% for every single gold that you make. That's any dollar ever, any source, 1% attack speed. The King of Greed's castle is an instant kill beam. If the enemy is highlighted with gold, means that if the beam kills them, you get 3 gold. That's 3% attack speed for the dispenser. Beacon sits right by it, grants an additional attack speed per year. Mercenary troops gain 1 unit per 15 gold you have. So more money means more troops, means faster dispensers, means more damage. Super simple, however, I'm not super confident, so I take on Duke difficulty, the 3rd highest difficulty, once more, just to level up in the hopes that I get a perk that just blows me out of the water. I gain thousands of dollars and beat that run in less than 13 minutes. I unlock a perk that adds Vault to your starting hand, which gives you 3 gold per level, so it's not terrible. I'm still doing Prince difficulty afterwards just to level up. I lose run, I go again. I lose run, I go again. Maybe I gotta try something else. You know what? Time to take on King difficulty. Who cares? Early dispenser, early vault, level 1 mercenaries as well. It's time to build wealth. I'm down to 1 life at 7 years. I lose run, I go again.
What do we do? What do we do? What do we do about you? Gestures to everything.
I decided to swap focus to bodies since I've seen this before with the King of Spells. I get a much needed stockpile decree which gives you 1 copy of every single one of King of Greed's cards. My board gets filled up, I just need to wait and stack up some money and stack up some stats. I get a farm which means more units, more bodies, so we can focus on these units, and then if the dispenser wants to do damage, it definitely can. I get to year 10, no issues. I spend a lot of money at the shop. I get to year 20 and have a good board. My board is leveled and my stats are looking good. I get to year 25. Still, somehow, no issues. My troops don't die. I get more mercenaries for my $2,500. I get to year 30. Everything is working. I have all of my lives. My army doesn't falter. I double the HP of all of my units thanks to a decree. I have 575 units. My main mercenary troop has 9 buffs. I get to year 33.
This is it. Godzilla's gonna get 1 shot. Let's watch this in real time. This is real time, by the way, which is as fast as some other battles with other kings as the focus. Godzilla is immune to the beam coming down, but it kind of just gets shredded in general. All right.
Yeah, well, that went all right. I've only got 2 left, King of Nomad, King of Nature. Gonna be honest, not looking forward to either of these monsters.
I'm level 5. I'm going into it. We're going into it. I mean, maybe we just get lucky and stumble our way through.
That's right, we're 4 hours into this challenge and I don't feel like playing King of Nature any more than I have to. On the other side, this could lead me into finding something in the King of Nature that I may have overlooked previously. Maybe I've been unfairly looking away from the King of Nature. We'll find out. Just a thought though. I'm going up against King of Spells, Blood, and of course my Rebellion. I got my boars, I got my elves, I got some stolen warlocks and wizards from the King of Spells, and I'm just looking to add bodies to the field. The more the merrier, surely I'll just brute force it. It's worked in the past. To be fair, I've got a lot of strong buffs I can grab and apply. Poison, health from Forest, Carnage from King of Blood, which makes any unit explode when it dies, 4% of max HP, and of course Procreate, and of course all the enchantments that come with the King of Spells.
I feel like I kind of need to play manual with the placements of these things, but I don't know if it's worth it. I think I lose in my first life here, actually. I hate the King of Nature, man. Shit sucks.
Yeah, off to a great start. Who's counting? Thanks to our perk, we get 2 procreates though, which means an extra 18 bodies on my warlocks. I get a little bit of a blessing in disguise though here on year 10 as I grab a card from the shopkeeper who rolled on in called Patronage, which grants an extra 3 whole levels, 3 whole whopping levels for my tree ant, which means my heal/damage ring can actually start to push some numbers out, which is Also weird because somehow at the 10-year mark it's doing 3k damage compared to the 1800 from the Orchard, 580-ish from the Mycelium. And then the units are there to really just stall. Again, we're trying to do the poison toxic stall strat. As long as the units can live, the structures can do damage. And thanks to the Treant's healing field, the units can actually live. I got 53 units at the end of year 13, and their most important thing is just live. And then, now with the help of King of Blood's Demon Altar, die. It's time to buff the Demon Lord. Apparently, I'm also at war with the King of Stone, which means another construction to do damage while my units are busy living. That's right, it's time for my favorite card in the whole game up for debate, Flame Tower. I also get a supply drop from my decrees here, granting an extra copy of every single card. I get a forest down to stack some health for my tanks, and we're low-key looking pretty good. My plots are full and mostly looking good in terms of levels. The worst thing for me, as per usual, is going up against the King of Stone, because the ballistas are just menaces. They just rip through my numbers. They have piercing shots that just go all the way to the end of the battlefield, and oftentimes my wall just falls at the first rally as well. But that also means it's pretty good for my demon altars, and we get all the way to year 20 without losing a life. Little sidebar, I wanted to talk about Mycelium really quick. These little mushroom guys spawn an extra mushroom every 9 seconds in battle, and my battles are lasting a while. Since I got this really early on in like year 7, they are putting in numbers. They stack and they stack and they stack. So ideally, the longer time you spend in combat, the more mushrooms that you get, which means the more damage you get late game. So over like the 13 years that we've seen already, since we're on 20, they have been flourishing. End of year 20, it's up to 5,700 damage, which is still somehow getting outnumbered by my tank troops. Hello? I'll overlook it. I've loved my warlocks. Again, I put up some walls to feel a little bit of comfort. These things should live when my troops die, so I get a little bit of extra time for my constructions to do damage. I also grab a spire to heal my allies and my walls to allow me to just live a little bit longer, as if I needed more survivability.
We might end up going against the King of Stone for the last fight, in which case the ballistas are going to do exactly what it just did, which is fuck up my wall, which is not good.
The next decree rolls around and I grab more supplies to make sure everything is up to speed and up to level, but you got poison, you got poison. Let's get another stack of poison on you. I don't need any more boars. Yeah, I don't need that. Mycelium, don't need that. Yeah, this was useless. I don't know why I did this. Yikes. I get my orchard leveled up. All right, I guess I'm going to do... I think I'm going to do a flame tower. And then I'll level up the flame tower to level 2 next turn. I threw this run so bad. I legitimately threw this run. So I'm just crossing my fingers and hoping that I don't have to fight the King of Stone for the final year. If I do, they rip through my backline, they destroy my wall, all on one move from the ballistas. And my units can't do the one thing that they're supposed to do, which is live. Okay, I really feel like I'm gonna go up against the King of Rock or King of Stone next. King of Rock and Stone next, and I'm not ready for that. Oh, these ballistas are gonna be just the end of me. Oh my god, they aren't? They didn't take down the wall. Wait, they didn't take down the wall. Come on, please. Please, 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 please. Can I heal my wall if I put this here? Maybe? Possibly? Oh, how is that thing living? Did they nerf the ballistas just for this? Oh, I pressed a button. How did I do this? There's no way. There's no way I one-tried this. It's just a big green ball. Should not have gotten away with this. My wall should be dead. They should be inside me right now. I am Green Lantern. What are you going to do about it? I expected to be on the King of Nature longer than anything else. I did not expect to what was that, first try? Was that a first try? I think that was a first try. Transition.
We're level 4. We're level 4. We're going to take on King 1.
That's right. It's time. We've made it. It's the last king of nomads. Here we go. I'm riding so high on these random just chance wins on king difficulty that I'm going to take this level 4 nomad and we're going to take him to the king level difficulty and we're going to beat his ass. Putting him up there as the 8th king that I have beaten the game on king level difficulty with. I'd also like to note that this script took so much time to make that yesterday SadSocket actually announced the 9th final king. Now I'm not doing this challenge again, but mark my word, I will beat king level difficulty with the new king. Don't worry about it. The king of time or whoever he's gonna be. Anyways, the long-awaited king of nomads. We've gotten some decent help from him throughout the ventures, but now it's time to lead his kingdom into victory. It seems I do a lot of yapping throughout this run, so I'll just step aside and let me do a lot of the work since I already have. But here's a little bit of backstory. I'm up against the king of spells and the king of nothing and eventually the king of nature. So those are the cards and colors you'll see throughout this run. The idea is to build mob in the center and adjacently surrounded with other units. Whenever those units recruit new units, the mob also recruits more units. So the more units, right? The warlord is kind of weird for a castle because it's an actual unit that runs around during the fight, and then they just throw little banners that buff their other allies with their own stats, like the warlord's stats. So you end up just with super buff units on the field. However, it does reset. So you notice the more buffed they are, the larger they are. So that's why they get so big. Connor also joins in towards the end here, but GStreamer, I'll let you take it away.
All right, so this is my least favorite. So I think we're basically just going to go with bodies. I think we're just going to go with a big army again. Shaman. Maybe we go shaman. Maybe we get shamans. Maybe I just max out shamans. Maybe I try to buff the shamans. And then we'll just be like pure buffers. Like the warlords will be buffing. The shamans will be buffing. I don't really know what the stats are. Oh, I do know the stats are. 13 health, 5 damage, attack speed, movement speed, and crit chance. This is gonna be another long one, folks. So strap in. King of Nomads isn't gonna get me anything. I could either go mob or base camp, and I don't want to do either of those. It's too late to do base camp. I've already committed to a mob. What's the other one I'm doing? King of Nature. King of Nature. I could get forest, but I don't want that. Who's back here? Who got sent all the way to the back? Oh, there's another one. I'm not. This isn't looking too good for me. Okay, now they're kind of dying. Some of my units are getting a little big. Okay, now they're dying. Okay. False alarm. Wow. Yeah, it was not looking great. And then my troops just kind of stagnated at like 68 to 62 and didn't drop any more past then. That's kind of cool. I wish I could procreate the warlords. Why can't I breed the warlords? Mom, I want to breed the warlords. Oh my god, the raptors are ripping. Whoa, this army is massive. 130. Nobody's going down. I'm trickling. Oh, my big unit just died. I was pumping everything I had into him. Oh my god. Go, raptors, go. Get big. It's your time. It's your time to get big, raptors. Stomp on them with your giant feet. Come on, do something. Don't just stand there. Who's on top of you? I get more decrees, so it wouldn't be the worst thing. They do 6k damage, so yeah, I think I could do it again. Maybe I do it again. No, I'm gonna double the HP of all my troops. Wait, I could get Cryo Flame again. I'm not gonna do that. What are these other ones that I could get? Oh, do we get more? Oh, we get more decrees. Maybe I go again. Oh my god, I can procreate the warlords. I'm gonna gigantify my warlords. I'm doing it. Finally. It's been a long time coming. Warlords at 1000 HP. And I guess they share their HP with allies. No, yeah, I gave swords to the warlords because they're buffing everybody else. And the shamans, I could give it to the shamans, but I think the warlords are multi-targeting with their buffs. So the warlords are kind of just shamans on steroids. Let these raptors rip, get more health. 56%. Oh my god, my warlords have almost 5k health. Good lord. So it would
do they do anything other than buff?
Nope. That's all they do. They just buff. They just impose their stats on allies. I'm actually going to do Poison Vial on on my warlords. What can I level up? I'm going to level up the orchard. And fuck it. 10% more HP. My warlords have...
they don't get to ride the raptors.
5,500. Oh, I don't think they mount them anyway. Oh, maybe they do. You're right. I think I'll be fine. It's going to be a long fight. But we're here for it. We're here for the long haul. 362 units versus my 95 at this point. But I think they just keep buffing their HP. So King of Nothing is just, yep, going to drop. Went from like 300 to 140. I'm still at 95.
You have too many frontline units, so the buffs get spread out, and then those guys eventually all die down. that ones that aren't getting as many buffs until you get to the normal mass of ones that your warlords can handle, and then you buff. Those guys get buffed until.
Oh my god. First try, level 4, King of Nomads. I've now beaten 9 kings on the king difficulty with all kings.
I couldn't have said it any better myself because I have tried and it did not go well. So yeah, that's the challenge. But what's a good challenge if I already beat the King of Stone off camera?
So, for victory lap, just cause, I may have
I'm gonna say
mistaken.
Kevin.
It's all part of my plan. Don't even worry about it. Oh, shit. Okay, king of nothing. What's up, man? I'm going to take your paladins for mine. Let's do vampirism on the paladins. Let's go.
I don't think they live long enough and do enough damage to make that work.
Surely they do. Look, they did 36 damage, the same as the imps. Imps level 3.
Yeah.
Everything's coming together. Yeah.
Upgrade them paladins.
I have 3. No. They need to go to the ballista. I need ballistas for this. Nah. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 extra projectiles on each trebuchet. Wait, this is so perfect. I'm gonna do this in less than 5 hours.
Look at only half of it.
No!
And there goes the other half.
You can break 14. That's crazy.
To be fair, they have been your highest damaging unit this entire time.
Oh, and then they just did 4K. What the hell? What the hell? I over double your troop size and you deal 10K less damage than you've been dealing consistently. What's going on, gang? Alright, this wall better hold up, I swear. Okay, cool. We're chilling. The wall's not even... Okay, there goes the wall now. Oh, holy, that could have been disastrous. Sub 5 hours.
Your fucking flame tower haste.
Stop the clock. And that was my fastest one. I told you.
Well, there it is. I'd say my first ever actual successful challenge thing I've done on this channel. I guess apart from those two, I tried to beat the game in one run videos that I've tried. If you're interested, I did a video for that on Hades last week. It was an absolute blast. Let me know how my storytelling skills did here, if you're even still around. This is the longest commentary video I've ever done, and might do for a while, so I hope it turned out okay. And anywho, gspree gang, new videos here every single Monday as usual, every Wednesday on Overstock as usual, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day, night, week, weekend, and I will catch you the next time you catch me.